September 26, 1983. A date most folks don't know, but that was the night our world nearly ended, not by nature, but by our own hands. One man, in one room, faced a choice that could have ended everything. No Hollywood drama, no global alerts. Most of the world slept unaware, but deep in a Soviet bunker, the Cold War was about to ignite. The kind of ignition that could erase cities and civilizations. One wrong move, one button pushed, and it would have been over. Imagine the silence. Not peace, but terror. The hum of machines, blinking red lights, sounds of possible annihilation. And one man held the baton. A man you've probably never heard of. His decision is why you're hearing this story. This isn't just about technology gone rogue. It's about human instinct, about trusting your gut when the world is on the line. The pressure was immense, enough to crush or create heroes. On this night, it would do one or the other. The world didn't know it was holding its breath, waiting for a decision, waiting for fate to tip one way or the other. And it all came down to a single moment, a single man, and a choice that changed everything. The early 1980s, peak Cold War. America and the Soviet Union locked in a nuclear standoff. Thousands of missiles, enough to destroy the world many times over. It was a terrifying game of chicken. Paranoia was everywhere. In Washington, fear of a Soviet first strike. In Moscow, the same fear reversed. Mutually assured destruction. Mad. The idea, nobody would start a nuclear war because everyone would lose. But fear can override logic, especially when tensions are high. Just weeks before, the Soviets shot down a Korean passenger jet. America was outraged. Rhetoric soared. The world felt like a powder keg, the fuse dangerously close. Massive arsenals, hair trigger alerts, leaders talking tough. Mistrust ran deep. Every radar blip, every troop movement, potentially the spark for global war. The perfect storm was brewing. One mistake, one misinterpretation, and it could all go up in flames. That was the world on September 26, 1983. A world on edge, waiting for a sign. And that sign almost came. The stage was set for disaster. All it needed was a trigger. And that trigger was about to be pulled. By a machine or a man. The world held its breath. Enter Stanislav Petrov, Lieutenant Colonel, Soviet Air Defense Forces. Not a general, not a politician, just a man doing his job. His post, Serpukhov 15, a secret command center near Moscow. The nerve center for the Soviet early warning satellite system. Oko, the eye. His job watch for signs of a U.S. missile launch. If he saw one, he had to report it. No hesitation. On this night, Petrov was in charge. The responsibility was his alone. About 100 people under him, all looking to him if things went wrong. The system was new, state-of-the-art, designed to give the Soviets precious minutes to respond. Minutes that could mean peace or Armageddon. Petrov knew the system inside out. He understood its programming, its flaws. He wasn't just a button pusher. He was a thinker, someone who knew even the best machines could fail. He was about to be tested in a way no training could prepare him for. The weight of the world was about to land in his lap. One man, one decision, the fate of millions in his hands. No room for error, no second chances, just a moment of truth, and a choice that would echo through history. The world didn't know it, but everything depended on him. Just after midnight, the bunker erupted. Sirens wailed, red lights flashed, the screen screamed, "Launch!" The system detected a missile from the US, heading for the Soviet Union. Imagine that moment. Your blood runs cold, your heart pounds. This was the nightmare scenario. Protocol verify, then report. The computer confirmed it. Level 1 alert, the highest. The bunker froze, all eyes on Petrov. Then it escalated, second missile, third, fourth, fifth. 5 Minuteman missiles, each with multiple warheads. This looked like the start of World War III. The pressure on Petrov was unimaginable. His duty, pick up the phone, report an attack. That call would go straight to the top. The likely response, full-scale nuclear retaliation. Hundreds of Soviet missiles would launch before the American ones even landed. That was the logic of mutually assured destruction. One report, and the world would burn. The machines were screaming for action. The world was seconds from disaster, and Petrov was the only barrier. One call, and it was over. But Petrov hesitated. Something felt wrong. 5 missiles? If America wanted a first strike, wouldn't it be hundreds? His training screamed to report, but his gut said wait. The system was new. Could it be a glitch? He grilled his team. Any confirmation from ground radar? Nothing. Ground radar couldn't see that far yet, but the silence nagged at him. The system was certain, but the context felt off. It was a huge gamble to trust his gut over the machine. The intercom buzzed. Superiors demanded answers. Seconds ticked by, each one heavier than the last. Report a real attack and risk starting a nuclear war over a false alarm, or call it a malfunction and risk missing a real attack? The consequences were unthinkable either way. Petrov weighed everything. Logic, instinct, the stakes. He had to make a call. The world waited unknowingly for his decision. He was alone with the burden. The fate of millions balanced on his doubt. He chose to trust himself, not the machine. He picked up the phone and made the call that would decide the world's fate. A call for caution. A call that saved us all. The bunker was chaos. Sirens, flashing lights, terrified faces. Petrov's mind raced, searching for logic in the madness. He rechecked everything. Data, diagnostics, procedures. The system screamed attack, but his gut screamed no. The pressure from superiors mounted. They wanted answers now. He stalled, buying precious seconds. He knew, if he confirmed an attack, there was no turning back. No second chances, no undoing the order. He was the gatekeeper, and the gate was about to swing open. He made his decision. Against protocol, against the machine. He called Army headquarters. Calmly, he reported the alarms. But he added, he judged it a false alarm, a system malfunction. He hung up and waited. Would he be right, or had he doomed his country? The world teetered on the edge. Seconds felt like hours. The bunker held its breath. No explosions, no confirmation. The missiles never came. Petrov's gamble had paid off. The world was safe, for now. One man's doubt had stopped the apocalypse, and no one outside knew how close we'd come. The minutes after Petrov's call were agonizing. No explosions, no confirmation, just silence. Later, the truth emerged. It was a glitch. The Oko satellites mistook sunlight reflecting off clouds for missile launches. A rare, bizarre alignment fooled the system. Petrov's skepticism, his knowledge of the system's flaws, had been right. He stared into the abyss and chose not to jump. You'd think he'd be celebrated as a hero. But this was the Soviet Union. Instead, he was interrogated for not following protocol. He documented everything, but his intuition was outside the rules. Some superiors quietly praised him, but officially, he was reprimanded. The incident was classified top secret. Petrov was reassigned, then retired early. His health suffered, stress perhaps. For years, the world knew nothing of Stanislav Petrov. His story only surfaced after the Cold War. He never sought fame or fortune. He was a quiet man who did an extraordinary thing, and then faded into ordinary life, unsung for far too long. His decision saved millions. His name, almost forgotten. But his choice changed history. One man, one moment. The world owes him everything. What do we learn from that night in 1983? Technology is powerful, but it's not perfect. It can make mistakes, deadly ones. When the stakes are global annihilation, we can't afford blind trust. The machine said fire. The man said wait. We rely on systems, but sometimes only human judgment can save us. Stanislav Petrov had that judgment. He wasn't a rebel, just a man who dared to question. The peace we enjoy can hang by a thread by one person's decision. We build complex defenses, but a human finger still hovers near the button, or in Petrov's case, chooses not to push it. The fate of millions can rest on a single moment. Petrov died in 2017 quietly, but his story is a lesson and a warning. We came closer to disaster than most will ever know. Thanks to one man's doubt, we saw another sunrise, and many more since. That's a debt we can never repay. His courage is a reminder. Sometimes the bravest thing is to pause, to question, to trust your humanity over the machine, and in doing so, save the world.